So our color this morning that I want to share with you is Magenta Madness. And you might be thinking, oh, another pink. But when I pulled out all of our pinks, I was actually really surprised at how different they are. So this is Magenta Madness. That's Rococo Rose, which almost looks brown or even orange next to it. This is, I'll just put them all next to the Magenta Madness. That is Rich Razzleberry, which those actually tone in okay. This is actually not really a pink, but that's Blackberry Bliss. But those actually tone okay as well. Those three are all right. So Magenta Madness seems to have quite a bit of blue in it. This is, if you can believe it, if there weren't such a delay in the responses, I would ask you to guess. Because you might think that's an orange, but this is actually Flirty Flamingo, which is a pink. This is Melon Mambo. So that looks more purple and that looks more red. And then this one is Blushing Bride, which next to the Magenta Madness looks almost peachy. Anyway, so while at first glance one might think, gosh, we have a lot of pinks, but actually they're all so incredibly different. I actually had a giggle to myself and I thought, wow, how am I going to make a monochromatic card? So actually I opted to make a project that just uses Magenta Madness and some other colors because I couldn't really get any of these to sort of marry together. As you can see, they are really different. So this is probably the best one, these two, but even still. So Magenta Madness is very bright. So I think it's probably one of those that's best used in small doses or to be given to someone who just loves brights and happy and pink. Because for someone who likes the more vintagey, subtle stuff, it might be a little overwhelming. But I do think it has its place. So this is the card that I made to showcase for you Magenta Madness. So hopefully it's not too overwhelming for even those who are a little more faint of heart. So, and I'm using the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I can never get the dies to fit back on the sheet. So this is a really beautiful one with a detailed sunflower, and I have yet to stamp it out and use it, but I've seen some really like stunning things with that stamp. It's amazing. Sometimes the stamps that look, not that remarkable look absolutely amazing when they're done in color. All right, so let's start with our project. So I've opted to use a lot of white. So that's my tip for you, or a tip for you with some of your design things, is if you've got a really bright color that you want to use for whatever reason, just dilute it down with a lot of white. And then I've done a Magenta Madness matte and then a piece of white, and I've made the little matte very, very tiny again because I just wanted this in sort of small doses. And the white matte, I've pre-embossed it with the brick and mortar embossing folder. And I know that I say that every embossing folder is my favorite, but this one's got to be like in the top three. Just use it a lot. I just love that some of the bricks are more recessed than the others, and I feel like the bricks just kind of go with everything. So it's just a really good one. And let's put that up on dimensionals. You don't have to. I like a lot of dimension and texture on my cards. The more I design, the more I sort of realize that's the thing that I personally really, really like, is a lot of subtle texture and maybe elements that are, a lot of details, I should say, that maybe are more subtle. So a lot of times when I'm doing like scrapbooking, people think, oh, that's a simple layout. And then when we get into it, I hear, oh, this is much more complicated than I thought. So now the sunflower, I went ahead and pre-did this because I just needed to get all the bits out. And so what I did is the solid one here, I've actually did emboss that as well. I use that Tasteful Textile folder. You could use subtle, just anything, or you could even just crinkle it up in your hand. Just anything that gives it a little bit of texture would be great. And then this top piece, both of these, sorry, are Magenta Madness. But when they were exactly the same color, tone on tone, it was a little bit blah. So what I did is, oh, I didn't have one with me. Oh, yes, I do. I took a Versamark and just brush that over this top layer, the detailed layer. So what Versamark does, you can see that, I think, in the video. So the Versamark just makes it a little bit darker. So you can see it actually really well. I can see in this camera how the details are darker. They are actually the same color paper, but by adding in a layer of Versamark, and then you just let it dry for a few minutes or use a heat tool, then you've got the dark and the light, and then of course they tone on perfectly because they're actually the same color. And then put that on with dimensionals. My idea was to use a few different pinks, but like I showed at the beginning, they just weren't gelling very well. So this is a way that if you only have like one color of paper to use, if you just add your Versamark, then you can get actually a couple colors out of it. Now I did the same thing with the leaves. So you've got the detailed leaf and more of the solid leaf. I could have used two different colors with the leaves, but I thought I'll just kind of stick with that same look as what I created on the flower. So that, yeah, they would just look like they belong together. So do a couple leaves here. So with leaves, I would suggest you do one leaf or 3 leaves, but 2 leaves doesn't quite look right. Now, then the words, excuse me, they have some cute words in this set, and the thanks a bunch is just so cute with any flowers. So you could pair these words that come in this set with any of your flower images or dies or punches, and it would work quite well. And then that, I'm just going to tuck this up under here, and I'm okay if it sticks off the card just that tiny bit, because actually I'm okay if that works better if it sticks off just a little bit, because it's still going to fit in the envelope. Okay. And I used our favorite stitched rectangles dies with those again. And then just add our flower center in there. That's Early Espresso, sorry. And these are Pear Pizzazz, by the way. I didn't say that. Let's see. And then I think we just need to do our linen thread. So it just needed something. My intention was to use the Magenta Madness ribbon, but it was just too much pink for my preference. So using the linen thread and the neutral colors just kind of tones everything down as well. And then just trim that off. Yeah. And then you could use a glue dot. I'm just going to use a tiny dot of the Tombow liquid glue. And place that down. That tail is just a little long. There we go. That's perfect. And then last thing, we have the in color enamel dots. Sorry, as you can see those. And those are quite useful. We used some of these yesterday on our, I want to say on our Bumblebee card. So I'm just going to use a few of these cuties, the pink one, the Magenta Madness, for our project here. Oops. And put those down like that, and it's a perfect little splash of the color. And then inside, I'll just show you this one. I just did another matte and layer. What I'm going to do is stamp the little sunflower in there, and then probably some more of the words once I have the Magenta Madness ink pad, which hopefully all those things will be arriving tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll give that one a try using what you have or getting the sunflowers. And also, I guess, too, what I meant to say, what I forgot to earlier, was just because it's a sunflower doesn't mean it has to be yellows and browns. We can go ahead and use this in unconventional ways, sort of like last 2 Christmases ago I had burgundy Christmas trees, but we can do that in card making, and it's all in good fun. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.